Whew. Well, hello there. Yeah. I've had quite an emotional few days, really. Feel very blessed, actually. I feel very, very blessed. I can't express it, really, in genuinity. I feel there's something different about me than a lot of other people, and I think I see others who are a little bit like me, kind of. Years ago, I used to be like in a shell looking out, and I still have that tendency. But I realised it was a shell of time, it feels like. You often talk about the power of now, the now moment. It's in the now. But I feel it's more eternal. The things I do, I feel are like eternal. Into the past and to the future. And I think many artists and musicians have this thing, this thing where we dwell in eternity. Where you know that when you put in that pen to paper and putting that dot on there or a line, you're putting your spirit into something that's going to maybe last a long time and have a long lasting impression. Like a tattoo. Like something that just lives for thousands of years, maybe. And not that that's the kind of like desire to be immortal in any kind of way, but to make something that's so perfect that it withstands the madness of time. In my profession as a musician, we have bands, we have a band name, we have a logo. Every band has a name and a logo, and that becomes kind of through the time. Everybody knows that name, even after years after the band and the members are long deceased. The music lives on. When you listen to an old piece of music from Bach or Beethoven, all these old composers, and it's only off these transcripts that we hear the music, but we hear that music and it transports so much in that moment that people don't maybe even quite understand what these composers were really thinking, how they really seized that moment of eternity, And working with eternity it's not like working with now. I think we're coming in more and more into that consciousness, as we make videos, as we make more and more with these medias, we can slow them down, watch them frame by frame. We can actually see eternity. Kind of, we can start to appreciate that you can take any song of any record and go to any part of that song and play it and feel something different. It's like it's all recorded, like like a big cosmic library. And you notice yourself how your past, it changes. As you age. The past is living. Or at least it is to me. The past is still alive. Memories are living, kind of. They have a quality of livingness to them because they're still here today. It's like the seed of a plant that grows into a tree. You would never say that the seed is now dead, or that the root is now gone. It's just grown. It's become layered. And each age, like a summer or a winter or a season, we season as humans, and So we see ourselves from last season, and it's almost like somebody else. And when you can see life like that, when you can see like the eternity in both directions, that every action, every word has a ripple effect through eternity, you know. Very powerful, you know. It's very powerful when you, as a musician, you write a song and then you get it to a band and they like it and you all play it and you get enthusiastic about this song and take it on stage and play it to an audience and they all recognise it as something of great power or energy or enthusiasm, and everybody likes that song and it becomes a part of something bigger than the composer or the player or the audience. It becomes something bigger that we all identify with, even though it came from the original composer as a seed. You know, the whole harvesting and the whole growing process of the thing, of that seed, of that idea, you know. And I think of myself a lot more as an architect of life, you know, as an artist who works more with the ideas than with the actual machinery. I've got great respect for people who work really heavy machinery and build heavy things and lift big steel frameworks and things, you know, things that I would like to design, you know, big cathedrals, you know, what for amazing craftsmanship. But when you're using your hands with a hammer and chisel, and when you know, working with the matter, when you're working here, you need to be now. Your mind needs to be right on where every hammer hit needs to be conscious with you. And some of us artists, we tend to dream, and we tend to like look into eternity and then lose now. And so for me, it's not more about now and then, it's more about absent and present. Because I'm always here, but sometimes I'm looking at it from an eternal perspective, and sometimes I'm forcing myself into this now moment, and I think a lot of people can maybe relate to that. But that creates a big part of who I am. And I guess that's the kind of people I represent with this channel. It's not meant for everybody to understand all the things I say, although I try and put so much different like layers in that everybody can kind of get something from different layers, you know. There's the legal layers, there's, you know, the lawful layers, if you like, there's the political layers, the spiritual layers, the linguistic layers, the historic layers. And they all fit together, you know. So I try to deliver them all, and then it sounds to one half of the people as like pious, pious kind of ideas or fairy stories or wordplay, but to the other it sounds like pseudo-intellectual babble that they can't understand, you know. So it's very difficult to find a way through, and I find it's better as a composer to not try too hard to change the audience, not to try too hard, to not even try at all, really, just to focus on the composition, focus on the task at hand. But look at reactions, you know, look at, you know, if I create a song and I think that's a really good song, then it should work for other people. But if other people say, oh, but I don't like this, and I agree, then maybe I've overlooked something. So it is always a collective work. It is always a collective work. But for people like me, like thinkers, deep thinkers and contemplate, you know, and really thinking eternally, you know, while others are able to relax and dance the dance of life, you know, I'm thinking ahead into the future and way into the past and trying to bring that into this moment. And I don't know how to, I just see something different that, you know, I need to tell you. But like I said, I don't need to like force anything, because essentially I'm a composer, so it's really all composition, it's all a piece of work, it's all art. Life for me is just a big work of art. And The most important thing is that people are not in pain, that we relieve pain of life and suffering, that the art of healing. And I think the art of healing is not just in just being able to sew people back together, which is a massive thing. I've got massive respect for people who can actually physically heal people. I think we've all got, healing capabilities, love in our hands, love in our hearts, that we can actually put across to someone else, especially if we don't have our own fears and sympathies and things. But each of us have got different skills, and it sometimes feels like we don't see each other's skills. And maybe we just have to push through. Maybe we just have to not expect others to push us up, but just to simply step up, After all, a pedestal is just a footstool, it's our own feet that we just stand on. Maybe when there's no necessity to have credibility from other people, really, for everything, for most of the things. It's just nice to see those things work, really, to be able to step back and watch the fruit of your own labour. And that fruit, I think, is when, for example, I've written a song and it's made people happy over the years, and then I'll see it again 10 years later or something, and people are really happy, and I'll see those people again, and I just look into their eyes and I can see some great feelings, and I think that's what it's all about. It wasn't about the composition, it wasn't about making a great logo or a great word or a great song or a great poem. It was about feeling something and sharing that feeling. So eternity meets now, and we gather and then create more energy, from that. Yeah. These are very interesting times, and this is, for many of us, it's a big experimentation time, just to test, to take risks. But risks with love, really. I just can't take it anymore. I can't fight. And I think sometimes it's more just other people's fight that I've got caught up in, really, because when I look at the whole thing from eternity, I think that, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good, and there's a lot of superstitiousness about bad. A lot of people calling things evil when they don't believe in godly. I'm not saying it's necessary to believe in anything, except somebody else is a friend's word or something. But I'm not saying it's necessary to believe. At the same time, I notice that so many people think that there's evil in the world and badness and things, and often focusing in on that, and I can understand it, because we're all in fear, we're all insecure, we're all confused. There are a lot of strange, silly, stupidity, but stupidity isn't badness. Stupidity isn't evilness, And I think it's really, really essential that we stop presuming evil. I'm not saying nothing's evil, but if we actually make that call just from reading books and looking at symbols to actually presume something as being really, really evil, then I don't know. I don't know what the result is. I don't know if, I'm just supposed to be telling you, my kind of people, people who have actually got this far in this video. I'm not sure if you're the only people who's supposed to know that we're not supposed to be scared. I was starting to think that the masses, that have spent too long in their armchairs, it's time for a little bit of a reality pill, if you like. And we've all seen that a lot of the staged events are staged, or which ones we don't know. So it's better to kind of keep talking amongst ourselves, keep the confusion going, maybe. But Of course, we need to stand up and confront everything, even if we declare it a hoax. We need to go over there somehow and stop it. We can't presume it as being evil. We can't presume it as being a hoax. We have to kind of take it as being maybe at least out of our reach, or something that we need to discuss as like grown-ups without superstition. So I don't know, I thought I'd just ramble on a little bit, but the things that I say to you are not, I don't expect to wake up the world or reach the masses with these kind of things, but I expect to wake something in you, in certain people, in you that are watching now. And I think that thing that's important to me at this time is to say, if you presume evil, you're falling into a trap. And I say that quite sincerely. Now, I know people would say, yeah, but there's loads of evil, but I'm saying, yeah, but just think about that as a logical maxim, as a logical axiom, as a logical mathematical logic, that if you just simply presume something as being evil based on some kind of number or symbology, or a particular story that you've heard, or a piece of, or even somebody standing there, like saying something into a camera, like myself, it's very easy for me to lie. I don't even know if I'm telling you the truth, because I don't know if I have the truth, but I feel it in my heart. And I kind of pledge that by showing you my eyes, and then you can recognize that. We can recognize that in each other. That's how I see you. That's how, I see others on video and watch, because I can look straight into your eyes, and I can read that necessary little bit that I don't get from reading the comments box. And anybody could come past and watch these videos, and I'm trying to reach a particular kind of person without giving too much away to the others, and without saying too much there. It's a really real fix of a situation, because the people who really, really know, the ones who are not going to tell you the stuff that I tell you, I would presume, I've got no sources, but they'll know what I'm talking about. And I hope they take me in good faith, because people come along and, presume all sorts about, me and my person. And I'm just a guy just trying to share with the world. And this is sometimes you get so much back, so much distasteful. But the reward is that so many good people, this has been the most exhilarating, I don't know what the word is, but this time of doing videos and stuff. Oh, I'm going to leave it there, because I'm just rambling, really. Thanks ever so much for watching, being a part of my channel, and subscribing and keeping along with that. It's great. Send comments and that, but try and think of me and how many comments I have to deal with and stuff, and the fact that there are people out to get you and catch you out and stuff, and all right then, thanks a lot, cheerio.